My name is Pushkar and welcome to next tutorial of Angular 7. In this tutorial we are going to talk about the components. What is a component and how we can generate a component using command. Okay, so in the last tutorials we have created one application that is a first app, and we open that application into the Visual Studio, and into that you can see that when one component is created automatically whenever we create this application using a CLI, right? So this is the app component. Okay, and yeah, so basically Angular has a component based architecture which allow us to work on a smaller pieces. Means that we can divide our application onto the small chunks or small pieces, and we can reuse those pieces at the different places as well. So we can see that those can be those components can be used on the different places. Means that it is those are the reusable, right? It saves the our development effort. Yeah, and component is just a TypeScript class which is which we can which we create in which we can create our own methods and properties, and this class is decorated with the component decorator, and this component decorator is imported from Angular core package. Okay, and Angular into the Angular application we can create a multiple components, or like we can create a thousands of components. So it's a Angular application is a collection of component, and each component contains or responsible for handling one view. Into the app we have created, you can see that this application has a one view, that is app.component.html, and for that we have one CSS CSS file. Okay, so yeah, and component is a subset or type of the directive. About the directive we will discuss in the next video in detail, so you will get a more clarity about this point. Okay, and next, every Angular has at least one component and one module. So in this, as this application we have created using a command line, so you can say that you can see that here it has one component, and that is loaded from app.module.ts. Here you can see that app.component is loaded here. Here is bootstrap from module app.module.ts. Okay, and next is like what are the metadata or properties contains components, right? So basically it contains a selector, template URL, style URLs, or instead of the template URL we can say that template here as well, and style as well. Okay, so selector is a identifier for this component. Using this component, this like once we added this component anywhere, this component is loaded. Okay, next is template URL, and here this template file is responsible for rendering or display, and whatever variables or whatever functions we will declare into this class, those are accessible into this app.component.template class, and whatever CSS we will write into this CSS file, this is applicable for this component as well. Okay, so yeah, and you can see that here this is just a class app.component, and this is annotated with decorated with the @component decorator, and this component is imported from @angular core package. Okay, yeah, next is that how we can create component using command line, right? So for that we have one command, that ng space g space c space name of the component. Here ng calls the Angular CLI, g stands for generate, C stands for component and name of the component. And if you want to create a component inside any folder, then we can type the name of the folder slash name of the component. Okay, so let's go to the open a command prompt and create one component, that ng generate component, and name of the component is test. Okay, and this command will take around 25 to 30 seconds, and once this is done, this component is automatically registered into the recent module. We'll show you that once this is generated. And we already started our server, and you can see that our application is running onto the 4200 port. Okay, as my system is slow, so it is taking some time. Yeah, you can see that component is created, and this command is generated 4 files. First is test.component.html and test.component.spec.ts. Next, test.component.ts, and next is test.component.css. And here you can see that app.module.ts is updated, and this is a recent upper module of this component. So just go to our project, and you can see that here this component is created, and this automatically registered into the app module. Here you can see that test component. Yeah, okay. And if you want to use this test component into the app.component.html, just go and type app.test. This is a selector, and yeah, you can see that here is a test work, and just go and modify something onto the test component. So like type here push. Okay. Now you can see that test works Pushkar. Okay, so means that our component is created, and now we can use at anywhere. Okay, suppose we want to load our, instead of app component, we want to load our component first. Okay, so just go to app.module.ts, type app, type this into the bootstrap. Okay, and open index.html file. App.test, type a selector of that, and here you can see that this is, and go to the browser, you can see that test works Pushkar. So now our component is rendered first, and we can say that this is the first component which Angular triggered. Okay, so that's it for this video. In the next video we will talk about